Hey, welcome to Rust Revival Garage. Back on the 68 Le Mans again. In the last video, I'm not sure if you saw it, but I had it running. I was trying to get the timing situated, but the problem that I found was that oil was leaking out of the valve covers. It was just, the entire top of the head was full of oil, and it wasn't draining back down in. So it means that things were pretty sludged up. Things weren't very clean. And at the end of that video, I'll have a link to it down in the description, and you can check it out here. But in that video, I basically asked, the people viewing the video, what should I do? I didn't know if I should try to clean the engine, and hopefully that would take care of the problems, and I could go on to do other things, or if I should basically shut the engine down, take it out, get it all cleaned up, flip it over and get that oil pan all cleaned out and the sludge cleaned out. So I sat on it for a couple of days and I thought, what should I do? I don't know what to do. One of the things I realized was it really isn't an A or B or an either or kind of thing. Why don't I try to clean the engine, get it nice and hot, do some of those tips that I found on YouTube to clean that engine out, and it'll basically clean the top half of the engine, then take it out, go through the engine, clean out the bottom half, take that oil pan off, and clean all the sludge out, clear up what's probably the oil pickup, and do all of that stuff for the fall and into the winter. Because basically I'm pretty sure that the car's timing chain needs to be replaced, and while I'm in there, I might as well do the water pump, and get all of that stuff taken care of. So I figured what I would do in this video is try the trick to see if I can clean up the sludge. And basically, I saw a couple of different videos. People suggested Marvel, Mystery Oil. Everybody suggested ATF. But the one that I decided to go with was the Seafoam. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Project Farm channel. I'll also have a link in the description. And he had a video where he tested on an old 80s Ford pickup truck. He tested, and it was making a lot of noise. He tested Seafoam to see how the Seafoam treatment worked. And he's pretty good at testing things and being fairly rigorous, not always perfect, but I really do kind of trust his opinion. So what he did in his video was he used the Seafoam treatment for the gas and crankcase, poured a little bit in the gas tank, poured a little bit into the crankcase to get down there at the bottom, and then he used this oil treatment where it's like a top-end engine treatment. Removes harmful deposits from critical engine areas, it says. So basically what I am going to do is get the engine running, follow all the instructions, spray this down the carburetor while it's running, turn it off, let it heat soak for a while, and then start it back up. And hopefully that'll clean up that top half of my engine. Then take the engine out, shut her down for the fall, work on it all winter, and then by next spring, I'm able to then have this engine back in the car, and everything should be nice and clean. I can paint the darn thing, so basically I can get her ready for next year. So I think that's going to be the plan: is clean it while the engine is in there, then take it out, do up all the rest, clean up that oil pickup, replace that gasket that's down there, clean up, paint the engine, paint the bay, do all the stuff that I've kind of been wanting to do, and now I've got an excuse to do it. So yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so I'm getting a lot of this junk cleared out. I have no idea what this gray stuff is. It almost looks like some kind of, see that? It almost looks like some kind of melted gasket maker or something. It's weird. But I'm getting this cleaned out. I've got the other side done, and hopefully I'll be able to clear the passageways with maybe that Seafoam treatment. And now I know what a dentist feels like, picking all that junk up out of your teeth. And this is exactly what it's like, just using that pick and pulling up all that crap up out of your mouth. Just call me Dr. Tim. So I've got my old valve covers, which I'm going to use again because I didn't have a breather that would fit in the old one, at least a grommet that would fit down in there. So I'm going to try these again because I have a feeling it was just more about the heads being able to drain the oil and not necessarily that these weren't fitting right. So what I did do was do the old spray adhesive on the gasket and on the valve cover surface, and I'm going to let this tack up, see if I can't put these back on and get a little bit better coverage, making sure that none of that oil is getting out. So yeah, I'll just let that dry and then I'll get these valve covers back on. Just need to get these valve covers back on. All right, just need to tighten them down. Okay, so the top of the heads have been cleaned up. I've got the valve covers on, and the gaskets are in there, I think, a lot better than they were the last time. The gaskets I had, when I had them on the last time, they were a bit loose, and this one back here bowed a little bit. So I have a feeling that might have helped contribute to some of my leaks, but now I've got them basically glued up into the valve cover. Got them down nice and tight on both sides. Didn't go too tight, don't want to crush that cork. But I believe we should be good to go. Try to clean this engine. Even if a little bit does continue to come out, hopefully I think it'll work out because I'll be running the cleaner. It'll hopefully be breaking up a lot of the deposits that are in there, and we'll see what happens. First thing I need to do is get all my spark plug wires hooked back up. Let's see, this is 1.8. There we go. So I'm going to get all these spark plug wires hooked back up. All right, now I need to attach my vacuum advance and lock it down. It would help if I could see down there. I also want to check my oil levels because I have spilled a bit of it. And as you can see, the oil is starting to get a little rough, which means that some of the stuff that's in there, the sludge, has been warmed up a little bit and is dropping down through the crankcase. I think we just want to finish the job with the Seafoam. We are not low, surprisingly. The Seafoam directions for the oil to the crankcase just says 1 ounce for each quart of oil in the crankcase. And since I've got 6 quarts, I'll do 6 ounces and pour it through there, and that'll help it at least on the bottom end. And then the other Seafoam I'll be spraying directly into the carburetor. That'll help on hopefully the top end. We can see if we can get this motor cleaned up on the inside. Alright, so I borrowed this from my wife from the kitchen. Do not tell her. And we're going to get 6 ounces. Oh, wow, child safety kit. That's not cool. Defeated by a child safety cat. Nice. All right. So, there we go. So let's see if I can pour this down without spilling too much. All right. I think we are good to go. So we've got our lower end crankcase oil set up. We've got enough oil in there, so we should be good to go. And now we just see if we can get it started and try the other Seafoam straight down the carburetor. Now this one, the directions say run engine to warm intake, then shut off. Remove air filter to access carb throat. Air filter removed, start engine. So we just need to warm it up, stop it, set it up to spray down the carb, 2 to 4 ounces, and then spray a long burst, shut it off, and let it soak for 10 minutes. All right, seems reasonable. Oh, what did I do with my keys? I got the keys. I got the wrong. No, I don't. Let's see, I've got that plugged in. Let's give it a try again. What is going on? Positive is hooked up. That connection is hooked up. Does not seem too happy. Need to wait for the intake to get warm, and then I gotta shut it down. Getting lots of smoke, which is usually what happens when you do the Seafoam treatment. Let's shut it off. All right. Now we gotta set it, let it heat soak for 10 minutes. All right, let's let her wait. Yeah, it got kind of smoky in here. Going to keep that fan running back there. Open up this door in the back. Just get some circulation in here. They always say with the Seafoam, it does tend to create a lot of smoke. All right, let's kill the power. Now, I don't know if it came across on camera, but man, she sounded like a bit smoother when she was running. I mean, it was sort of like it was whatever the Seafoam was doing in there had started helping right away. I mean, the throttle response was a little better. I don't know. I have no idea, but it just seemed like things were definitely going a little bit smoother. So yeah, we've got to let this set for 10 and then start it back up and maybe take it for a little spin around the neighborhood. See if we can get everything cleaned out. All right, our 10 minutes is up. It says to get in it and get going. Ah! Battery. All right, let's try it again. Can't tell you how great it is to drive this car. It is awesome. Yeah, just cruising around the neighborhood again, just trying to get this thing back up to temperature. Brakes still need some work. But yeah, it's very fun being in this car again. Very, very cool. It's definitely got a good acceleration. Something that was kind of lacking the last time I went out. So I'm hoping the Seafoam is working. Still don't have the timing where I want it to be, but it still feels really good. It's also not shifting, I've noticed. In first gear, it's not dropping down into second. Temperature's staying pretty good. Again, the oil pressure is not hooked up, but the temperature's staying pretty good. Watch out, Mr. Squirrel! You don't want to get squashed by a really heavy old car. Not shifting. Alright, that's a concern. I mean, we are going into park in reverse, but we are not shifting into second. Hope that transmission's okay. Alright, I think that's it for now. All right, so I got the car back in the garage. It was quite a comedy of errors because the car died. And I think the battery just wasn't charged up enough. Could not get it restarted. And I'm on a little bit of a grade on this driveway. And I had to get my youngest daughter out to come and steer, and a neighbor came running out to help me, but we managed to push it up this slight hill and get it back in the garage. So gonna wrap this one up. I think I did good with the Seafoam treatment. I've got Seafoam in the fuel tank now. I poured that down into the crankcase a little bit in there. I've got ran the Seafoam engine cleaner down through there, and hopefully that's going to get everything all nice and sludge free. It did certainly run a little bit better as I was working the throttle while I was shooting that down in, and it certainly drove a lot better when I was driving it around. Really good throttle response. It had really good acceleration. Oh, and I'm really worried about that transmission though. It is not shifting into second. So yeah, there could be an issue there. But I think we did good to clean up the top end of this engine. Now I can happily say I think I can take it out now and feel like I did that part. And I think now it's time to work on the cleaning up the bottom half, change out that timing chain, change out the water pump, do all that stuff to get it ready for hopefully driving around next year, starting in the spring. So yeah, lots of work to do. Like, comment, and please subscribe. I've got a lot to do on this channel with this Pontiac. I've got a 78 Yamaha motorcycle that I'm always working on. I've got a 1985 C10 pickup that I'm constantly improving and upgrading. I've even got a 2000 Jeep Wrangler TJ that I'm working on and doing upgrades to. So yeah, if you can, please support the channel by subscribing and checking out the videos. Thanks very much for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.